Once upon a time in Persia, a land of dazzling palaces and even more dazzling parties. Picture it, opulent gardens, flowing wine, and enough gold to make even a Kardashian blush. It was here that our heroine, Esther, lived a seemingly ordinary life. She was a young Jewish woman raised by her cousin Mordecai after her parents. Well, let's just say they weren't in the picture anymore. Esther was kind, beautiful, and as we'll soon discover, incredibly brave. She was like the Beyoncé of ancient Persia, talented, gorgeous, and destined for greatness. Although I'm not sure Beyoncé ever had to deal with a power-hungry villain like Haman. More on him later. Little did Esther know her life was about to take a very unexpected turn. Think Cinderella, but with less singing mice and more political intrigue. Get ready, folks, because things are about to get interesting. Now let's talk about King Xerxes. He was the ruler of Persia, and let's just say he enjoyed the finer things in life. Banquets, battles, and beautiful women. One day Xerxes threw a party, and not just any party. This was a week-long extravaganza. Think Coachella, but with less flower crowns and more chariots. The highlight of the party was supposed to be the grand entrance of Queen Vashti, Xerxes' wife. She was basically the Gigi Hadid of Persia, stunningly beautiful and always the center of attention. But when the king summoned her, Vashti was like, "Nah, I'm good." Xerxes was furious. "How dare she refuse me?" he roared, his ego more bruised than a peach in a hailstorm. His advisors, eager to avoid the king's wrath and a potential beheading, suggested he find a new queen. Enter Esther, stage left. But wait, there's more. We can't forget about Haman, the king's ambitious and easily offended advisor. This guy was basically the Regina George of ancient Persia, except instead of ruling the school cafeteria, he wanted to rule, well, everything. Haman had a major problem with Mordecai, Esther's cousin. You see, Mordecai was a devout Jew and refused to bow down to Haman, believing that only God deserved such reverence. Haman, with his massive ego and even more massive temper, was outraged. "How dare this guy not worship the ground I walk on," he probably fumed while stroking a fluffy Persian cat. Fueled by jealousy and a thirst for revenge, Haman hatched a wicked plan. He convinced King Xerxes that the Jews were a threat to the kingdom and needed to be dealt with, permanently. The king, oblivious to Haman's true motives and probably a little hungover from his week-long party, agreed to this terrible plan. Meanwhile, Mordecai, being the smart and resourceful guy he was, got wind of Haman's evil scheme. He was basically the James Bond of ancient Persia, except instead of fancy gadgets he had his wits and a network of informants. Think of it as the ancient Persian version of Twitter, but with less trolling and more urgent messages about impending genocide. Mordecai knew he had to act fast. He rushed to Esther, his heart heavy with worry, and told her everything. "Esther," he said, "you're our only hope. You have to talk to the king and reveal Haman's wicked plan." Esther was terrified. Approaching the king uninvited was a huge risk. It could mean exile or even death. But Mordecai, with a wisdom that could rival Yoda's, reminded her, "Who knows, maybe you were made queen for just such a time as this."